All right, all you devils out there, happy Friday. Sam here with you. What is it, the 11th here? And it's, let's see, 12:45 for me. Well, I kind of tee this up here. Now Bitcoin's making a little bit of a move here, selling off here. Let's hope it doesn't alter the count too terribly much here. It's not going to alter anything out here. And I know everybody's getting tired of seeing this, me included. So all we're looking for is a 3 to give us that D, right? 3 to give us the E, and then off we go. So there's nothing real at this distance here. We didn't quite make the 50, right? It didn't quite make the Vegas wave, so we're not quite there. It remains to be seen whether or not we've got a pivot in here. Looks like we might, but just for macro, big picture here, no change, nothing dramatic here other than just the ebb and flow, and then the frustration, what do we call it? Strangulation, triangulation of this triangle just grinding us down, right? It's relentless, right? We have a long way to go here, if indeed this is how we're going to end up. So patience is what you're after here. I know it's frustrating, right? Everybody wants it to boom now. Oh, let's see. Okay, so we've covered this to death here, so I don't need to get back into that. Let's go down to the shorter time frame here, where there's a lot of some interesting things happening here. Now here's the little sell-off here. It's right before I started recording. Let's go back to an hourly here. I don't know why I'm getting that. I don't know if anybody can tell me why I'm getting that. Right? It's not a function of my account, but every time I switch lately, I started like, I don't know, 3-4 days ago, or more than that, maybe a week or so ago. Anyway, all right, here we go. All right, let's get into it. So, what are we doing up here? Right, this is starting to look a little bit ugly, and certainly, I think we can recognize here that Bitcoin is moving in sync with the stock indexes, right? So certainly the technology stocks. So as the market is, really taking a nosedive today, that's pulling Bitcoin with it. It's going to pull all of crypto with it. Well, if it's pulling Bitcoin, it'll pull everything with it. So kind of an ugly day. Now, compared to what's happening in the stock indexes, I would think this is modest, but there's a whole lot going on here for technicians as well as students of technical analysis here that I think you can learn from. So let's just dig in as we sit here. So I think this count remains, certainly it's valid at this point in time. And there's a lot we can draw from this just with regards to what we can anticipate. And if indeed we're in the process of an impulse, 1, 2, 3, we're working on the 4 here to get us out of here in a 5. Well, of course, remember the assumption is not that the low's in and we're off to new highs. The assumption is that we're just putting in the A wave because we need a 3 here. We'd be putting in the A, B, C to give us that D. So let's keep that context in mind in terms of upside targets. I mean, I've got targets up here at 51. So if we're going to get something like that, this is perfectly reasonable. Right? So, and it's right in line with the larger, certainly from an Elliott perspective, with the larger pattern that appears to be in play right now. Now, of course, things can change, but at this moment in time, I think we can make some estimations here about what we can anticipate before, if indeed this is going to finish, because at this moment in time, we can't really make a distinction between whether this is going to play as an ABC into a 3, and now we're heading much lower, or whether or not we're just in the process of putting in an impulse. Now, I think the impulse would have the advantage here, and that's primarily a function of the context, right? What we've come from. So having completed something down here, at least there is certainly a case to be made for completed a pivot here, and it's technical. So having completed that, the assumption would be if we completed, in this case, it would be the ABC down here at this location, we'd be anticipating a 5 to come off of that, right? So, hang on. All right, where was I? Okay, so as we look here, just getting context. I'm having a hard time getting started today. Well, the thing that stands out here, if indeed this is going to play as a 1 and this is our 2, and we're doing it through this flat, right? It's a very textbook. come here. All right, so nice A wave. There's some complexity here into the B, right? It's a little fake break, but then what really you're leaning into here is the 5 that finishes, right? So that gives us our A, B, C into a 2, and then we get a screaming impulse right off of it. Now, the thing to note here is that, right, per guidelines of alternation, sideways, complicated, right? So this looks like it's going to be complex as well. But we might be anticipating something sharper here. So if indeed we're going to, remains to be seen what we're going to do, but something deeper here, we would be looking for some sort of a balance. So the idea that we perhaps have got the 4 in, so that it might have been 1, 2, 3, 4, and you could probably squeeze a finish into there. I think that's less likely because this 4 doesn't balance with this 2 the way you'd hope, right? That doesn't mean that it can't be, and that if this drops, we're down here, we'll revisit this, but it just means it's less likely, right? So it's all probabilities, right? That's all we get. So probabilities would suggest that given the length of time here, that this is not our 4, and then we didn't clear, and there's not really a great finish there anyway. So there is a lot going on here that I think can guide us, right? So this is just great examples of how I think particularly the geometry here is very interesting in how it influences the market and how it can guide us into better trading decisions. So as we sit here now, we're just appear to be heading back towards the point of control here, the high volume node where we have all of this business that was done, right? All of this, creating that POC there. Oh, let's go in. Let's see what I'm on, an hourly. Let's go to the 30. I cannot figure out why that happens to me. All right. Well, the impulse off of this pivot here is, I think, hard to dispute. Oh, this gets a little squirrely, but right, at the end of the day, it's sideways, right? So classic 4, and then we get a nice 5 to finish. Sorry. So the finish of this impulse here is really solid. This being sharp, this being sideways, right? We got our alternation there. Oh, see, I guess I have to dig in there a little further. Okay, now this is getting a little squirrely in here. Now this is, of course, this is a function of how the market responded to the CPI, and as the stock indexes rallied, then sold off, then rallied, then sold off. So we're getting whipped around a little bit by the perception of where risk should be allocated. So I think the way we look at this here, from this coming down, I think this is a cleaner play to work this as a 5. Now this gets really funky in here because of the news influencing it here, but there's a count that can accommodate this. So we'd have 1, 2, 3, triangle 4, and then kind of a funky diag to finish it. Now, to get out of this here, it seems to solve this, we've got to go 1, 2. Now, this is really, I think it's within a tick, right? So you got to decide how much a purist you're going to be. All right, so if I'm right on that, I get right on it. Oh shit, I could be off a hair. Right, but here, where are you? Let's get you right on it. Right on it. That looks good. That looks good. Okay, let's pull back out. Now, for a purist, of which I am not, all right, that's a problem. I've taken to calling my Elliott a bit dirtier, right? I consider it, for lack of a better description. I'm just not a purist, right? So I just call it, it's a little bit of dirty Elliott, right? So the theme, right? So how do I want to phrase this? Because I've had members ask me about this, or some members call me out on something that I get wrong, which I get wrong, right? So I'm not here to tell you my counts are absolutely perfect, and I walk the line between Prechter Elliott and Elliott, right? There's a very distinct difference. If you're unaware, all you need to do is read some Elliott, not some Prechter Elliott, right? Well, pardon me. You should read both, which is kind of what I'm after here, which is before you're going to start breaking rules or working on the edges of rules, you need to know them first so that you're aware that you're breaking them. So for me, I stick with this as a 5, right? 3, 4. So we get a diag here, even though it technically 3 is not longer than 1, it's short by 2 ticks, but 5 is longer than 3. So I have this little impulse, or pardon me, this little diag here. I don't see a better way to count it, right? So I do have the little 5 in here. It's funky, but you'd have to, since it's a diag, you've got to work it as an A, B, C, right? The finish of the C is actually quite good. So You know, if you want to stay clean, Elliott, you want to stay pure, right? You're not going to like that count. If you're on the dirty side, as I am, I'll work that as a 5. So what that's giving me here is A, B, C, right? To finish my B. Then I scream down in a 5, right? So let's see, this is my prerogative, right? So of course, right, as every trader has that prerogative as to how strict you want to be on rules and guidelines. So I don't mind getting a little dirty. Okay, so coming out of that, straight 5 down. Oh, let's see, let's open that up. And this is really hard to argue with, right? We got a nice little triangle here in the middle of it. Oh, well, shit, it wouldn't even matter. But here, if I go down to the 5 minute, you see that a little bit better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So something's happened here. Now, this is what's just happened, right? So when I started recording before this little sell-off here as the market tanked, right? It's recovering a little bit. Well, now, so I just really, literally before I started recording, I just put the WXY on here because this, while there was maybe there was a chance that some ugly diag would come out of here, and then we could have been finished here. We could have done an A here, right, for the little dirty Elliott gets our B, and then we'd finish our C, and then we'd have a, oh fuck, what would we have? I think that's a 5. I think that's a 3, and I think we're going down here. So I'd have to do it as a B since I can't do it any other way here. So I think you have to go with an A, B, C here, but that would suggest that now we put in a W since I can't get anything. I can't get a 5 into that. I mean, if I did, it would be such a horrible force fit. I think it would appear now with the break of, oh, did we break it? Let's just check here. That we've got, if we didn't, we got mighty close. That's what you call a true double bottom. Remarkable, is it not? Right, so... Right, where's the worst place possible to sell the market right now? Right there, right? Like you couldn't have a worse place to sell it. That doesn't mean it won't drop, but in terms of entry, right? That's just foolish. No need to do that. There are whales, traders, people with muscle just waiting for you to do it. Right? They're literally baiting you in right now. Right now, they're baiting you in to sell that. Well, we'll see, right? Doesn't mean it won't go down. I'm just saying that's a very low probability place to enter a short. All right, so if that's going to be, right, so if we've got to work this as a 3, because it kind of looks like some sort of, just sideways chop here. But so if this is a W, right, we don't have a lot of choices here. Oh, well, there's another way to count this here, but right now, because I don't think we've topped here, because I don't, again, as I was saying on the larger picture, I do not like the idea of turning that into a 3 and this into a 5 and just say 3, 4, 5 and that we topped. That I do not think. Here they are, right? So, well, anyway, not to digress on that, but you see the reaction here at the, well, look at it this way, right? How many times are they going to test that, right? Now, I'm not saying this might not be a place where you could short after you see this. Okay, then I love the short. Here, just you got to stop doing it, right? You just, I talk about it a lot because people do it a lot, and because I used to do it a lot, right? So it reinforces for me. Every time I tell you guys don't do it, reinforces to me because I used to do it, right? It's very tempting, right? You look at it like, oh shit, man, if it breaks, where's it going to go? If it breaks, right? Where's it going to go? Right there. Most likely, right? Tied to all that, right? If it breaks. And if you wanted to short that for whatever reason, right? So maybe you're looking at this Elliott count and you say, that makes sense. And you think, maybe we got a 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you could sell it, right? Then you have some distance coming into the pivot, right? But you don't want to sell at the pivot. You got to sell from above it if you're determined to sell it there. You got to sell it from above. So as you come into this, you got some headroom, right? I mean, if you're selling it here, you'd be in profit. Now maybe you tighten up your stop, because I promise you there are traders who are just waiting to do that. That's what they're baiting right here, right now. Now, they may not get away with it, right? As I said, they may not get away with it. So you could see 1, 2, maybe we go 3, but then there's the trade, right? Now, prior support becomes the resistance. Now you got to trade. Now, right? Now that makes sense. Here, again, you take my word for it. You learn the hard way, as I did. Okay, so it looks like we're just going sideways. So this is somewhat discouraging, right? You wanted that to be a little higher, really. You wanted that X, but I don't see a better way. So since it would seem right here, we're either starting or we're finishing something. Right now, as it sits, I think less likely that this is 1, 2. Oh, fuck, how could we do this? If this was A, B, I suppose we could. Well, it fucks us up a little bit. Right, you'd have to, because in a we can't turn it into a zigzag, because in a zigzag the B can't go beyond the start of the A. So we're a little fucked. I guess you could turn this into a 3. I guess you could. So you oh god, here I'm getting sidetracked already. You could probably put the 5 here, right? You could probably do it, right? And go A, B, C. Well, that's a bit of a squish. Well, it looks like you might have to truncate, but you could probably get away with it, right? So then you'd have a 3 into a 3 with an expanded B, and we'd come down to the 5, right? So then maybe you can, shit, we probably should do that. Oh, fuck, here, on the fly, right? So I'm fixing a little dirty Elliott. All right, so let's get it right. Okay, so this potentially 1, 2, 3, there's the triangle. This would be the A. This would be, oh, fuck. Oh, here, let's just do it like that. It looks like you're going to have to finish right there. All right, so now we got a 3. Now I got another 3 with an expanded B. Now I got a 5, right? So here, potentially, I've got a flat that finishes here. Catching myself on the fly. All right, so now this is starting to get a little serious. So if this is a W, now that's a skinny X, right? There's no requirement that we do a 56-1A, right? So, but that would be a 38. I don't think that's a 38. Or so if we come here. God, never the first click. All right, we get this. What do we get here, right? At 38. High volume, right? Makes sense, right? But what are we responding to? It's the market pulling it down, right? Just go. Whew, NASDAQ, S&P getting hammered. We're going to look at that here before we wrap up here, because it's so, we'll get there in a second, right? So what could we be doing, right? If this is W and that's the X. Oh, pardon me. Right, so we'd have ABC, right? So this would be the W here via the ABC. ABC into the X. Well, looks like we're working on an A here. Well, let's label it, right? Looks like 1, 2, still working on a 3, right? Now here, right? You're saying, well, hey, man, with this, the guys who sold it made money. Okay. My point, of course, every pivot, right, it's got to break eventually, right? My point is just that that's a low probability way to enter. So if we're still putting in the 3 down here, here's the trade where you want to short it, right? As I was just saying, let it come back. Now, I love that short. Let it come back. Actually, now you want this to go a little further. Truth be told, right? So 1, 2, 3. That wouldn't be the end of the world if that was the 3. Now come back to it in a 3. Let's go to a 15-minute. What do we got here? Oh, you might need to do it that way. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like you might have that. God, that's really, looks like we're well past. Oh, fuck, where am I doing it here? Looks like we're, no, pardon me, I got to put it here, because this wick is the finish of the X. So it's got, oh, fuck, here, right there. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still going. At some point here, we'll look for that 4 to 5. So what are we likely doing here? So this is now coming down a little bit, right? So if this is the W and that's the X, right? So it's a little funky. So you'd be looking for the ABC here, and then just this is the X. It's starting to get a bit more problematic here the further this goes because of the imbalance, right? It would be A, B, C, and then X. Well, I guess it could get there. It could get there. If this is the 5 and we come back for a B and then we're coming down for another 5, could be. All right. Let's see how that plays. If that's what we get, right? Remains to be seen. Now, I'm telling you right now, I want you guys to watch that, right? And I'm going to watch that this week. See how that kickback hits. It could happen over the weekend. Whoa. Well, let's see. I'll show you an alternate that one of my students, one of my members, has been toying with. I think he posted it there too. He's been with us forever. He's become a very skilled Elliottician. I think his handle on Twitter is Mekatataku. I think it is kind of an Not sure where that's coming from, but he's a very skilled Elliotician. He's been with us, I think, for now going on 3 years, and he posts regularly on Twitter. And I happen to see his count, which I'm always curious to see how my members are approaching it. He's looking at a 1-2 on the idea that if we are going to finish here, that while this still could be corrective, this could be a 1, right? So 1-2, 1. If we're going to go deeper, that's actually quite bullish. If it's 1-2, 1-2, well, we got a lot of upside here. I don't see that yet. Because if this were 1-2 and we went 1-2, what's about to come off of there is going to be, assuming we get traditional, is Bitcoin ever going to do traditional? But if we get typical wave relationships here, the prospect for if this is 1-2, for where that 5 will be is so far beyond what you would anticipate if that's the 1-2. That things would be changing. We'd be blowing up the triangle. We'd be, back here thinking, oh God, if this is, we just did a 1-2 here, and we're going to go 3, 4, 5, then that would imply that the low is in here. Now you're back working this as a flat. You got to turn this into a 5. Oh fuck! All right, so we could keep the 3 here. We could keep the 3 here, and then you got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this being 1, 2, 1, 2. Now triangle blows up, and we're off, right? And the low is in. Well, I don't know if I see that just yet, but it's an interesting thought to consider if this starts going deeper. If we don't stay contained in here in this range that we're in, if we start to push down, towards this, and if this is the A, well, you can kind of see how. Well, wait a minute. If let's say that's the A, and we're going to go into a B, and then we're going to come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, the count's going to start to change, right? Then you'd be back here thinking, wait a minute, is that just an ABC, and now we're going down to something deeper, or does Mekatataku? It's fun to say, Mekatataku 1-2 1-2 maybe, right? And maybe I'm all wet, right? And it's so bullish that I'm not wrapping my head around that. Now we'll see. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Right now, what are we doing? We're just coming back to the prior support, but the Elliott here is a bit tortured, right? You're working to kind of squeeze it in, but it's very unclear. At the end of the day, can we simplify, right? So that's always what I'm trying to do. If I can, this is getting very complicated. Let's see, can I simplify? 1, sideways 2, big ripping 3. Now I'm still in the corrective zone here, right? Well, shit, here we've just typical. Oh shit, I've got them in here. Oh, let's start bringing them on here. Where are they? Oh, I believe that's the first one. Well, here, let's find them. That's the big one. Oh, that's not the one I want. There. Oh, that'll work. Okay, so look what we just did. Okay, we'll be back because I got a lot to show you in there. Okay, if it's 1-2, right, this being the 2, and this is the 3, not the higher pivot, right, because we're working that as a B. Well, we just pinged the 38, right? So in terms of where we see a reaction, right, that's likely not. Well, that could be price action, that could be algos, there's a whole lot that could be there. I mean, we got a high volume node. We're just coming back to test the structure there. So there's the this is going to happen while I'm recording it, right? So there's the reaction having tagged this. So if it's 1-2 and that's the 3, right? Here we go, right? It's gonna pop now. Oh shit, let's go to a 5 minute. That's not quite what you want, right? We want a little more complexity here. You don't want to do this. Well, let me rephrase that. I would not do that because of what I want to see here. I'm already down to a 5 minute. Okay, give me an A, give me a B, give me a C. Now I'm interested, right? Now this is very skinny, so I'm not expecting that to take a lot of time, but I want to at least see the subdivision. And I'm not going below a 5 minute, right? There's just too much noise, too much junk down there. But if I get that, you're on a 5 minute, I'm interested. Well, just pull the fibs, right? So if this is the 2, and if that's the 3, I don't know that it is, right? But if I can get that right here in the pocket at prior resistance, pardon me, prior support, now approaching the support. Well, what? Okay, I'm good with that. Right, so there's a potential short in play right there. Shit, we're about already reclaiming that. Well, so I mean here's the breakout, right? So here was the last low. Here's where we broke from, right? They've already reclaimed it. So if you were, or just kind of, I got myself in a hole here. So if you sold it here, it's already come back to where you entered the market, right? So now what are you doing? Right? Are you scratching? Or are you anticipating it come down further? God, even if well, I'm not going below 5. It's not worth it, right? So we've just come back to this little pocket here, the little stutter step before we went down relative to the prior pivot. So here we go, right? So potentially, God damn, this is A going in. I want that to be rejected, right? I want that support. That doesn't mean the market's going to cooperate, but what I want here is for that to be rejected to give me the 3 so I could sell it, right? So I could sell the 4. Now, we're getting mighty skinny down here on a 5-minute. But I still want to see it, right? I mean, you can see it, right? So there's oh, shit. Oh, I don't find a great example off the top of my head. Or right, what's in front of me. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a clear 5. There's a 3. You'd have to work that as a 5 here. I mean, even down at the 5-minute, you'll get a lot more of this, a lot more of the slop, right? Chop. This. So I tell you, Elliott is always most effective at 60-minute and higher, but we can work with it down here. It's just understand that if you're working with Elliott down here on a 5-minute or below, or even 5-10, right? It starts to clarify at 15. It's going to be a lot of count changes. Just be prepared for that. All right, I'm kind of rambling today. All right, let's see if we can finish this. So candidate for the 3 to come in because I can see a completed impulse, right? So do you see how I want this all to be one completed wave here? One wave right now. As far as that's kicked back, it's reasonable to assume that whatever this is, right, it certainly looks impulsive, has completed. All right, so if you sold it here, now you're starting to feel the heat, right? So if you sold it, you're worried now. Right? Now what do you do? Right now you're worried. Now you're going, oh shit, is this coming all the way back? Well, if I were short here, where your stop likely, you're gonna have to use something, your most recent pivot. They could easily get you, right? But so it still looks like an A wave, again on the 5-minute. But right now you see if you had not shorted it and you were curious of shorting it, I mean, if you were determined to do it, you're at the right spot for it here. But again, do you have a 3 there? Right? I'm getting way off track here. Okay, let me pull back out because there are some really good things here to show you in this. Okay, so the count is flying on me while I'm recording this. All right, so that's interesting. So it looks like maybe there's a deeper retracement coming out of here. Let's get this. Let's see. Let's hide that one because I got a whole cluster of them here I wanted to show you. Okay, let's come back to this area here. We know, right, this is where we can anticipate some support, right? Again, the high volume node here is partly what we're keying off of. It doesn't guarantee support. I don't see a better solution here because this move down is 5. This is a 3. So the 1, 2 already doesn't look great. Right, if you were thinking, oh, that's 5, that's a 1, that's a 2, we didn't go far enough, right? So now it would definitely make you think we're working on the 5 here because we're already back, right? So that was just probably some people got liquidated there, and now we're back into the zone. So you might think of it this way, right? We're back into the consolidation. Okay, here we are. Oh, freaked everybody out. No, we're back. We're back. It's safe now, right? We're back in the consolidation. Now, can we keep going? Well, if that's going to finish that 5, right, you would anticipate one more down. Right now, we got our A, B, C. It's pretty obvious where if we break, we're not likely to find much support. Right? That's a hole that certainly everybody who's trading Bitcoin can see that. Right now, you got a little bit of a high volume node here tied to that, but that's that may not be enough to hold it, right, before it comes back down here to the edge here where all this was. WXABC is what I would be anticipating there, but let's be thoughtful about if this is going to hold as a 4. Well, we don't want that to go too far. Let's put this back up. And that's the 3. You really don't want it to go beyond that 50. All right. Again, it's not that we've never seen a 4 go to the 618, but it's less bullish. It doesn't imply that we're going to have the rip roaring 5 here. The deeper the 4, the more shallow the 5. Typically, again, not with certainty, but more commonly, right? The deeper you go here, right? Maybe you get the algo target, right? You'd have an algo responding here. All right. So all right. Let's get back to business here. Oh, okay. Since we want this to hold up here, let's bring it back. Okay, what am I on? 30 minutes. Okay, let's just run through these real quick because there's lots of good stuff for technicians to feast on in here. Okay, I think the Elliott count was fluid, right? So it remains, it's happening as we speak here in real time. So we got a couple of really solid things here. So first, we get the set of median lines here, and there's some pretty remarkable confluence here. So as we get through, and this is also influencing the count here. If this is 1, 2, which looks reasonable, and again based on that 5, right? Well, coming off of the corner, there's our 80%. All right, a little sideways here, back to the median line. We get through. Now here, look at the last kiss goodbye. Right, we tag the median line before we come, and where do we fall? Right to the edge of the median line. All right, now that doesn't, all right, so the count would imply that there's more to come, but right now you can kind of understand, right, why, looks like it's a perfect tag of that pivot right there. No, it looks like maybe they got that one. They got that one here. So here we are on the edge of the median line. But what I would not be willing to trade off of the idea that that's A, B. Oh, and we're done. Here we go. All right, looks like there's more to come. All right, but we want that to be done relatively soon before we get into this hole. Or then I think Meka Tataku's count idea is that we've gone, we'll see. Right? I think this would have to be 1, 2, and then we're going to go. Right? So we have an alternate should that be what happens, right? It's not ready to go there yet. Okay, so we got the median lines. Oh, right, pretty good in there. Oh, what else? We've got our fibs. Now, this is the initial tag, so the swing. So I'm using the highest high. So if we go dominant to dominant, we come back down to the 50. First target, second target, third target to the tick. Right, so algo's getting paid there. Oh, what else do we have in here? This is the count from the high, right? This is our target for the A wave. So if we take the all-time high to this pivot low, we're looking for an ABC, or pardon me, we're looking for a 5 to get us into the A wave here of the ABC of the triangle. So that's our target up here. Oh, we'll call it 51. All right, there's that one. Oh, here. Then we've got this as well. This is the wolf range here. So since we have this straight rip up, right? So wolf range, just range expansion. So this is our initial range, right? Then we retrace here. So we consolidate here. So here's the 100, here's the 200, and the 300. Note the confluence we're starting to see here up at this target of 51. Now we got this here, right here to the tick, right? From the initial range expansion. We're not quite yet to that. To the 200. This is the one we're after. So we've got that one. We've got this one here we just looked at here. So second target, do you see second target here? Is right here at our target here. So here's first, right? It's always a function of what's on the edge, right? So here's first target, there's second target, right clustered with our target up there at 51. Oh, then I've got some geometry on here. So here is the traditional Elliott channel, 1 to the 2. But because we've overlapped here, I want to clone that. And so all I'm doing is just highlighting it, hitting clone, and then taking it up 50%. So I'm just taking this channel, and then I'm overlaying it. So here's 50, here's up 50 to the tick. Now, note here, we get it to the tick right here. But then this is the tell, right, that we're losing steam. We can't get back to it, right? Oh, down we go. So just looking at that would make you think, I wonder if there's any divergence down there, right, off of that failure to get there. Well, that's pretty good. Well, that's pretty good, and it's a little harder to see it here. But coming from, I mean, here it's been coming the whole way down, right? We're losing steam, volume fading, RSI momentum fading here. The Elliott count suggests that we're top heavy and something else is going on. So you've got all of that up here suggesting, oh, that was a bit of a tell, right? Which is why I don't think I don't think you can finish that as a 5 because of this wick here, and we go back up. So you can't work it as a 5, right? Because you get too much overlap. All right, so 1, 2, right? We're already back there. 3, 4, 5, right? So maybe, right? This would be surprising. I'd be surprised, but perhaps pleasantly so, if we're going to come down here. God damn, right? So if that's the WX, and we're going to get here, let's put that 5 right here. This has to go off. All right, this is, well, if this is the W and this is the X, we need an ABC here, not just this. We need this. Right, that's what we need to finish it, and we don't want to be careful about that getting too far. So it's tenuous in here, right? If this goes further, this is going to start to break down this count to where it's not going to look as appealing if we're putting in a WXY heading towards the golden zone. I think that might throw the count off, or we're back to 1, 2, 1, 2. So very valid situation here based on how we're going to respond here and if this is going to hold and all that's happening here. So I think I covered all of that. I think, goddamn, how am I doing? 37 minutes. Okay. What are we missing? Well, I think we got to wait for this to finish, right? We can't. I mean, the trade that's here right now is a short, but I don't want to short it here. I'm looking for the buy down here into the potential 4 or what could be the 2. This being the 1, A, B, and this if this is going to be the 2, then it would be 1, 2, not WX. Right? It would be A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As we finish the C, looking for something lower. All right. Okay, 30. I think I'm kind of all over the place today. Had a plan when I started. What is it they say? Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. Well, that little sell-off here kind of flipped my thinking around on the day here. We'll see, right? I was not really a fan of that count that we had gone 1, 2, 1, 2 coming, but that may be what we get. Maybe. If this starts coming down, I'm going to start leaning into that all the more. But again, think of it, right? If this is the 1 and that's the 2, well, okay, we're looking for a pretty good 3, 4. Right now we're back down here into the base. It implies a monster's coming, but it would certainly it would make you rethink the triangle, right? If this is 1, 2, 1, 2, because this would be so big, it's going to blow out the triangle. Yeah, so we'll see. All right, makes it interesting. Oh, let's see, 39. All right, I'm going to wrap up here, but just thought I'd show you this, right? So it's so pervasive here. Well, one of the things that you hear me say all the time is that this algo, right, which we call it's called a measured move, right? It's a measured move was traditionally a A to B equals C to D. David Halsey kind of reframed it here with these Fib swings here, which I teach, and he and others teach this now. So pervasive in the market, right? It is literally the DNA of the market. If you're unsure about it, because what you'll hear me say, it's in every market on every time frame, right? Because I was thinking about this the other day. I've probably shown it over 10,000 times, at least 3 years of doing this. It's at least 5, 10 times per video. I mean, it's just at least that many. Well, so here, this is the S&P, right? As we were going into CPI, so all of a sudden we've got a lot of volatility in the market. All right, so as this is ramping up here, we get our all-time high. Well, all of a sudden, right, just simple price structure, lower high. All right, all of a sudden, lower high. Well, here you had it here, right? We had a lower high, right? So you get a clear 5, right? So you can see the A, the B. See. Well, look what's happening here all week, right? As we knew CPI was looming, right? Everybody's worried about inflation, how the Fed's going to respond. As we start coming up here, you go like, oh, can't seem to get by there. I wonder why. I wonder why it can't seem to break this range here. Right now, see, you could be a price action guy and think, oh, well, I get it, right? It was a high volume node here, so plenty of business was done here. Oh, there's the swing, so we're just coming back into structure, and you would be absolutely right. But is that's all that's there? There's not much mystery as to what's coming. Why do you think it can't get through there? Coming right on it. Right on that pivot. Right on that pivot. So price action guys, you're right. But that's not why I can't get through. Right? There's the algo fighting that, right? So repeatedly. Right? True double top. Here now FX traders are wet over this, right? Here's the classic M. Right, they love that, right? And you got the W at the top. So this being, well, you just look at it as just a classic double top. But what I want to make a point of showing you whether I was looking at a 1 minute or a 1 month, right? The dominant, what moves the market, not why it moves, how it moves, right? This is the DNA of the market. Right, sooner you accept that, the better your trade results are going to be. If you're fighting that, right, and if you don't know where it is, or if you forgot to look. It just takes one buy right there, right? Thinking, oh, well, they're going to blow off CPI. Oh, well, who needs that, right? Who cares about that? Well, highest inflation in 40 years. Who cares about that? The market rallied after the report. Right? It was only when Fed officials started talking about bigger interest rates, then all of a sudden we free fall. But you got to understand why it can't get through here. Who's on the other side of that? Well, and you might same kind of thinking here. Why does it go up, right? So you get that report, and we watch it, right? We're day trading in the futures market every day. Like, you got to be fucking kidding me! Highest inflation in 40 years, and we're going up. It doesn't make sense until you step out here, and say, why would it go up, right? Who wants to sell it there? All right, whales. One thing whales are never going to do: sell at lows. Buy at highs, right? That's what retail does. That's why I'm harping on that so hard to get you to stop doing it. So if they wanted to take it down, right? Now, right? We don't have to be conspiracy theorists about it, but if they want, just think about it for a second. If you had the size to move the market, right? And you wanted to take it down, where do you want to take it down from? Where's the target there? What else do we have here? If I were a betting man, which is kind of a funny thing to say because I certainly am, that's what I'd be betting on. Now you got to look there and say, well, wait a minute, why did it stop there? Oh, you can see a series of them all the way up here. I marked this one because I didn't want to have to hunt for it. Why did it stop here? Right? You say, oh, well, there's a lot of volume there. That could be why. Maybe. I'd think again, why does it stop here? Right? So you say, look at that and you say, well, oh, come on, man. You could pull any pivot. Why are you using that pivot? Because the algo used it. Right? That's how you know. Perfect 50 to the tick. 1, 2, third target to the tick. Right? And then you can see it again, right? They use it again. Right? It's just a series. Right? They just go series after series after series. Right? Here it is again. Right at the 50. First target, second target, third target. Oh, shit, they almost got fourth target, right? So I just make a point, right? We some of these videos we do here, I guess you get more of it in the live streams here, but we're always looking at Bitcoin, but it's every market. It's in every market. Always, never turns off, always on both sides. You have to know where it is, right? Or you'll do something like I guarantee retail traders did, bought right into it. You're not having a good day. Okay, guys, there you go. Lots to chew on. This is going to be very interesting to see how this resolves here. How do we finish this? We'll see. Okay, guys, I'll be back on Monday. We got 2 days of live streams. As you guys know that drill, right? We have YouTube subs. They may not join us there, right? But you start to see it on the channel. Most people watch it after the fact, right? Because we do them in the middle of the day. So unless you're a full-time trader, you may not have the time to do that. Monday and Tuesday, it's all assets. And then my partner on Wednesdays with his unique style, and I'll be back next Friday. It'll be very interesting to see where we are, how this all sorts itself out. But I still think we are just in a holding pattern, waiting to get something to finish down here before we go up and get that target that we, all right, that's where I'm looking. I'm looking for the right setup with a target of 51K. I don't have it just yet. Okay, guys, we'll talk to you on Monday. You guys have a good weekend. Until then, all right, trade safely.